Hi, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Angela.
And we're Pure Detour.
In the summer of 2021, mid-COVID pandemic, we had a midlife crisis, so we quit our jobs, sold everything we owned to travel the world full time. After spending 2.5 months in Morocco, we're going to tell you about some of the things we absolutely loved about this country.
And a couple of things that absolutely sucked.
For taking nice picture.
I'm trying to get somewhere right now.
Last day in Morocco. We are currently in Rabat. Tomorrow morning we're going to be making our way to Casablanca to catch a flight out of the country. So be sure to stick around to the end of the video. We're going to let you know which country we're going to.
And Morocco is kind of unlike any place we've ever been to before. Like anywhere, we do a lot of research and reading before we arrive in the country. And with Morocco, we found it was quite polarizing. People either loved it or they hated it. So we had to come and find out for ourselves.
Yeah, in some ways it fell way short of our expectations, and in other ways far exceeded them.
Absolutely. So let's jump right in with the first thing we want to talk about, the Moroccan food.
We had some amazing food in Morocco. We also had some that wasn't all that good.
Yeah, so it turns out that our usual way for finding restaurants and food didn't work all that well here in Morocco. Google Maps in general doesn't even work all that well in Morocco. And all of the restaurants that were kind of easy to find through those methods were very much geared towards tourists.
Yeah, it's basically every place you find. It's your typical, what you would expect when you come to Morocco. Your tagines, your couscous, maybe a couple of other items.
And I'm so sorry, Morocco, but as a genre of food, I'm really not a huge fan of the tagine. I find that the vegetables are a little bit overcooked, usually mushy, almost like a baby food consistency. Some of the best food that we had here in Morocco was from a little storefront that had no sign. The restaurant didn't have a name, and if you walked by, you wouldn't even know that they served food. Never mind find it on Google Maps. So one thing that we found really turned it around for us here in Morocco was hiring a local food tour. Amazing local guides we've had here, and it kind of gave us insight into what to look for here in Morocco for what might be great food. And I kind of wish we had hired the guide earlier, because it probably would have saved us from one or two of those very uninspired baby food tagines.
Yeah, some of our favorite foods that we found here in Morocco were things like rafissa, basada, pastillas. Check out our food tour somewhere up here, any of our food tours, to see some of those great dishes. One of the things that we absolutely loved about Morocco, and one of the reasons that we came here, was its architecture and design. We've both been huge fans of it for a long time.
Yeah, there are so many things that they do so well there. The tile work, the ceramics, and the architecture just all over the cities, beautiful gates, amazingly gorgeous buildings. Something that if we had a house at home, we would have bought everything.
Everything you could possibly find in this place.
Rugs, and yeah, just a stunning way of building things entirely for the people of Morocco. If you want to see a little bit more of what we're talking about with just the architectural gorgeousness, check out a few videos. Our Essaouira Airbnb was a perfect example of a gorgeous Moroccan home, as well as the riads we stayed in, particularly the ones in Fez and Meknes were absolutely stunning.
So when we came to Morocco, our original intention was just to jump from city to city to see what was going on out there.
Yeah. Instead, we decided to do a guided tour with Berber Dream Tours. Our guide was Majoub, and he honestly showed us the absolute natural beauty of the country of Morocco.
And it's unbelievable.
Yeah, some particular things that stand out in my mind, the winding roads, cliffside roads of the Dades Valley and the Dades Gorge.
That was the Dades Gorge, yeah.
Yeah.
And unbelievable. The Sahara, the Atlantic coast of Morocco, where we were in Essaouira. It's just beautiful scenery that's out there.
The Todra Gorge,
yeah.
It's just, we almost missed that spectacular part of Morocco, and we're very, very grateful that we got to see that part of it, because it was probably one of the highlights of our time here.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about one thing about Morocco that we absolutely loathed during our time here. The internet. It's god-awful. Through Wi-Fi, through data, throughout the whole country, it's just hot crap.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where we've been, what city we've been in, the Airbnbs, the hotels, the networks, the Wi-Fi networks in the cafes, start to finish, front to back, either extremely slow or just not working at all, like extremely unreliable, cuts in and out, no fun, especially when, you know, we have as much work to do online as we do.
Yeah, and like I was saying, it's not just Wi-Fi in particular areas, it's the cell data as well. It's absolute garbage everywhere. So if you are thinking of coming to Morocco as a digital nomad, rethink that. Totally
twice.
not worth it. And another thing that we loved about Morocco was the affordability. We did spend a full month in Essaouira, which you guys can check out the video of our cost of living that we did there.
Somewhere up there. And then just kind of generally traveling through the country, riads. You can stay at amazing riads. We got some gorgeous ones for about $50 a night,
Yeah.
$40, $50 a night, amazing prices. The food, the groceries, the restaurants, all very affordable.
Absolutely.
The groceries are especially affordable if you're shopping in the souks. Just make sure that you find like a reliable vendor who is giving you the actual price rather than the tourist price.
Yeah, they'll change price to price from vendor to vendor, so
Yeah.
find the ones that you like the best.
Yeah, and then traveling throughout the country.
Extremely affordable.
The trains were very reliable, very inexpensive, and super easy to navigate.
Yeah, on time. They were great.
Yeah. So overall, we found that for the quality of the attractions and everything that we saw here in Morocco, it was extremely affordable, budget friendly.
Another amazing thing about Morocco is the people. We got to work with some really great people while we were here. We had a couple of tour guides in particular that we used. Majoub with Berber Dream Tours when we did our Sahara Desert Tour, and Fatima from Moroccan Food Tours when we did our Fez Food Tour. Both of them were out of this world phenomenal.
They were amazing. Also, staff at the riads that we stayed at, like literally went above and beyond. If we asked them like where to buy a phone card, instead they would run out and buy a phone card for us. You know, they just really went above and beyond. Restaurant staff, wait staff, the vendors that we dealt with daily on the streets, like super friendly, genuinely happy that you're visiting their country. And yeah, we had just in general a very good experience with the Moroccan people. That being said, we actually started off Morocco on a pretty bad note.
Yeah, Marrakesh started off on a really bad note. Just to start with, when we arrived in Marrakesh, we found the Medina of Marrakesh extremely exhilarating. There was a lot of excitement there. It was fun to experience. It very quickly went downhill. We would be approached every 2 minutes by henna artists, by somebody trying to lead us to the tannery or to a non-existent Berber market, hustling us into their friend or their family shop to buy something we didn't need. It was that you can deal with all of that. It's just a constant hustle, and it's quite exhausting, to be honest with you. Within all of that, though, you can deal with that. One instance kind of broke everything for us. We were out to dinner. Right before we were getting ready to leave Marrakesh, after dark one night, and trying to use Google Maps to get back to our riad. After running into a dozen different dead-end little alleyways or something else where we're turning around and backtracking, we came across a very clean-cut, good-looking young Moroccan man who insisted to us that the pathway up ahead was blocked. Can't go that way. In hindsight, we're 100% certain of it that we could have went that way. Then tried to offer us help to get back to our riad, which we declined multiple times, until he finally said, listen, I'm heading in that general direction anyway. If you want to follow me, you can. So we thought nothing of it. We thought, okay, it's dark, we're lost, let's just try and get back to the riad as quickly as we can. Well, needless to say, he had no intentions of helping us whatsoever. He led us down dark alley after dark alley, completely out of the way of where we were going, to where he suddenly stops and starts demanding money from us. And I kid you not, out of nowhere, some little tiny Moroccan guy comes running around the corner saying, he's your tour guide now, you owe him money. Well, we didn't have any money on us, so they didn't get anything. But had that been somebody more aggressive, that situation could have ended up very badly.
That experience in Marrakesh left us feeling kind of shaken. And honestly, we were feeling a bit mistrustful and cut off from the people around us. So that after that experience, even people who were approaching us genuinely and openly, we kind of shut out and were maybe a bit too short with them. That being said, we spent another 2 months in Morocco and we met so many amazing people that I kind of realized that we were wrong for being that closed off. It's not the way we want to travel, and it's not the way we want to experience the world.
So we want to take just a minute to give you guys a couple of tips if you plan on visiting Morocco, especially the bigger cities and specifically the medinas of the bigger cities in Morocco.
Tip number 1, learn from our mistake. Don't follow people. It's really common in the cities. People will just try and point you to tourist attractions, not point you, but they'll be like, I'm going that way, follow me. Just know that when that happens, you are going to be expected to pay them. So if you are somewhere and you would like someone to show you around, maybe give it a shot. We actually did that in a portion of Rabat and it worked out fine for us. So just know that you feel safe with that person and that you will be expected to pay at the end.
Tip number 2, hire a tour guide. Us as budget travelers, it's something that we very rarely do, is hire a tour guide of any kind. We did that when we were in Fez, and the experience that we had between the Fez Medina and the Marrakesh Medina were night and day. In Fez, we may have been approached twice for somebody trying to sell us something or hustle us in some capacity or another, and it's because you're with a local tour guide, so they leave you alone, you don't get bothered. Whereas the Marrakesh experience was,
Tip number 3, the henna ladies. A lot of people come to Morocco and get these gorgeous henna designs on their hand. Just make sure that if you decide to do that, that you negotiate the price first. A lot of people will offer it to you and you'll say no, 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 and then they will physically grab your hand and say, no, let me just do a little tiny small one. If you allow them to start, they will keep going and eventually you're gonna owe them more money than you thought so. So if you do wanna get the henna, make sure you negotiate the price first.
Tip number 4, street performers and where you are pointing your camera. Understand that this is how all of the street performers make their living, and be very careful where you point your camera at, because even if somebody happens to walk behind you as you're taking a selfie of yourself, good chance you're going to get approached at that point and somebody's going to demand money from you.
That being said, if somebody is out performing on the street, this is how they make their money, this is how they feed their family. Yeah. So don't take their photo without permission and negotiate the price first. So that wraps up the list of things that we loved about Morocco.
And some of the things that we didn't love so much. So if you guys want to check out some of the things that we got up to while we're here in Morocco, check the playlist out on your screen right now.
And as promised, we are going to let you know what country we ended up in next. Welcome to Egypt. Hang out in a couple days for our videos of what we got up to here in Hurghada.